I need some traction.
We're going to cover a ton of stuff, so don't try to take notes. You can take pictures if you want. There is no formal presentation. This is all going to be done live. We're logging into Facebook. And Logan and I are going to co-present, and we're going to tell you a series of stories on how you're going to use 1-minute videos for $1 a day. And you're going to put all of those into your topic wheel. And you're going to, everything that you do around marketing, like what you hear Josh talking about, is sharing your personal story, sharing who you're connected with, sharing where you have authority in the area that you want to dominate. So who are the people that, if you could, mind control and incept them, if you could put words in anyone else's mouth, what words would they be? What would you have them say if you could wave that magic wand? Because that's what a growth hacker wants to be able to do. But you've got a beer budget and you have champagne taste. So we're going to show you a few examples of how that's done, and then we're going to go step by step so that you can do that same thing too. And Logan, who actually runs our training, is the one who does a lot of these, and we're going to log in and show how that works. Okay? I'm just going to be here for tech support if you guys have any questions. If you have questions, just yell them out.
All right, so we're going to start off where we want to talk about personal branding, about how today everything centers around video on Facebook. I want to show a video. I know we're in Canada. A lot of you guys are probably from the States. How many of you guys have seen the following video by raise of hands when it pops up? Let's see. Isaac Irvine, he works for GoDaddy. And a while ago, he made this video. It's him and his son, Bodhi. And he's talking about his son being bullied. How many of you guys have seen this video? Got some? Okay. So the video went viral. It's got overall, north of 80 million views now? So it's reaching up there. And the crazy thing about it is, so his son, he has long hair, he gets bullied. You can see that the video is not made with professional sound, it's not made with professional lights, professional anything. It's in the bathroom, little iPhone propped up, and you got the shower in the background and stuff. So
Turn the sound on so they can hear a little bit, just to hear a little bit.
Sorry, what was that?
Turn the sound on.
Oh.
Why do you have one here? Is there a reason why you have one here?
Control++, bigger screen.
So you run your hair out so you can donate it, and some kids came by and said you look like a girl.
Yeah.
How did it make you feel, man?
It made me feel sad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of kids at your age, like boys, with long hair.
Yeah.
Pretty unique.
Yeah.
You want to know something secret?
What?
Daddy gets made fun of sometimes too.
Yeah.
So he has this video, it kind of goes on, and the key thing is that he's telling a story, right? It's not scripted. Obviously, his son is no professional actor or anything. But the reason it has the power is because it's not about being professional. It's about sticking to 1-minute videos. And we can see as we go down that this has been picked up a few different times. So he originally published it, and let's just look really quick. If it'll let me, does it show you guys? So when you're looking at video, when you're deciding which ones to put money against, which ones to boost, there's some things you want to look at. Average watch time. 6 seconds is the average on Facebook. This one only shows 11. Some of the ones I got picked up, we'll show you guys later, have like north of 20, north of 40. Anything that's 10 to 15 is pretty good. Anything that's north of 15 seconds is really great. That's an indicator. Facebook's trying to tell you, hey, this video is good. If you have a budget, if you have some money to put against it, if you have $1 a day that you can spend on advertising on Facebook, you might want to put it against this one that has a high average watch time. You'll notice that if it has bad average watch time, don't waste any of your money against it. You're just going to be throwing money away. Let's look through his feed, see some of the other places that has got picked up. George Takei, you guys heard of him? Star Trek. He shared it. 29 million views. A lot of engagement.
Who is he? Who is Isaac? Why does this matter?
Isaac works at GoDaddy. He runs the personal brands for everyone at GoDaddy. And then we run his personal brand. So he's teaching the same principles. You want to expound on Isaac more? Or? Long hair video. Obviously, it goes with the content. And this has led to, of course, the power of Facebook that most people aren't tapping into is sequencing. Meaning most people on Facebook, they'll have some video, some piece of content, they just kind of push it out there. And then they don't get a result. I'm not getting conversions, I'm not getting leads, I'm not sure really what the problem is. And the real power behind Facebook is that you can sequence your advertisements. You can use custom audiences so that if someone watches video A, then you can show them video B. If they watch video B, you show them video C. If they sign up for your lead form, then this, So you have to set up all these triggers. And that's what Isaac did. After this video took off, he set up all these consequent triggers. He made more videos related around this topic. He gets put on the news, so he makes a little post about that, right? And then we can say, anyone that watched this original video, we're going to show them this post or this next video. And we'll go into Ads Manager in a minute and show you guys kind of the results of that, because we've done that quite a bit with Isaac and a lot of people. But let's keep going down. We can see some of his business goals. He works with personal brands like GoDaddy. Of course, he wants to expand that beyond just GoDaddy. Part of GoDaddy's thing is they're okay with their employees building their own personal brand. So they're okay that Isaac goes and speaks. So here he is. He's gotten some speaking invitations because of the traction this initial video's got him. So he's traveling to Austin. He posts that. All these different things tie back together. Dennis mentioned a topic wheel, which is what Isaac has been building out. We'll go into how you guys can build out your own topic wheel, how you should do that, where to start. Here's one, Living Tree, shared it. 119,000 views. There's Isaac speaking again, and some events, more airplanes. Me and Isaac live a similar life. Love What Matters, 524,000. Some of the big ones are a little bit further down. Let's see. Let's buffer. There's again follow-up, right? So now he has both of his sons that he's talking to him about peer pressure. Again, the sequence, they came in on this initial video, and we're going to show them this one. China Times, they have the Chinese subtitles, so it's getting picked up internationally, not just in the US. Me and Dennis have spoken, the last month we did 5 continents in 3 weeks, and we were speaking all these different places, and everywhere we went, we'd ask, who's seen this video? And any room we were at, people had seen this video, so this thing went totally viral because everyone's sharing it. And it's not just that it was some wisp in the air, some totally lucky thing. It's because this wasn't the first video Isaac made. He made a lot of other videos before this. It took him a lot of time. He did a lot of takes. But because he knew what metrics to look at in terms of average watch time, in terms of your reach to your views, we like to see if I have 1,000 reach, if I can get 50% of those into views, meaning 500 people view it, that's really good. The average is about 30%.
So scroll down and let's see the stats on this one that we promoted.
So this is BuzzFeed.
So do you see, we made the initial seed. That's the initial 1-minute video we put out there to see whether the algorithm likes that or not. If it's good, we're going to boost it, and then it gets picked up. When it gets picked up by BuzzFeed and LN and who is it, George Takei, all these other people, we're going to share their sharing of our initial piece of content. And that's where the authority comes from. That's the piece you don't want to miss here. The whole point of being an entrepreneur or growth hacking is you're taking the most minimum dosage and you want maximum impact. And you're going to do that by having lots and lots of 1-minute videos. It's taking many shots on goal because all you have to do is make one. Josh has made, I don't know how many videos, how many events, how many posts. The reason he posts a lot is not because he's just trying to show what he's eating today. It's because he doesn't necessarily know which thing is going to take off. And the thing that takes off, you're going to amplify. And Logan's going to show you what are the things that you're looking for that if any of those metrics hit, then you're going to boost. You're not just going to put $50 on everything. You're going to put $1 a day, and then if it wins, you're going to go all in on those posts.
Yeah, so we like to test organically first, and we talk about average watch time. You can see this one was shared by BuzzFeed, 36 seconds. So the average on Facebook is 6 seconds. Facebook counts 3 seconds as a view. North of 15 is really great. 36 seconds, that's what Larry Kim would call like a unicorn, right? Like, that's just fantastic. Facebook's giving you a strong signal here. Facebook tries to make it easy for people, actually. People think that Facebook's really overwhelming, there's a lot of data, but they're actually trying to tell you like what's good and what to put your money against. And then after that, 30-second views, we like to see how many 10-second views. We also can go over just the posts in general. We like to see 10% engagement on a post. So if I have 24,000 reach, Facebook counts video views as engagement. But I'm looking here more at my reactions, comments, and shares, and then also my post clicks. So if I add the two together, then I get about 1,300. So now this one's not quite 10% in terms of that. But you're not always going to get a home run everywhere across the board. Like Dennis said, if any one of these hits, if you're getting 10% engagement, if you're getting 50% reach to views, if you have a really good average watch time, any one of those by themselves should be a strong enough signal that it's worth putting $1 against for a few days to test. If you get multiple of them, that's your home run where you want to ride that thing. But 10% engagement, still, this isn't bad, especially for a shared because you lose some.
See, the orange bar is boosting. If you're not boosting on Facebook, you're getting no reach.
Yeah, we can see our organic versus paid. This one's Ellen Nation, Ellen DeGeneres, picked it up. Another big one, of course. Lad Bible, 5 million views.
Who are we targeting?
So Dennis brings up a good point. So we get all these publications. You guys have always heard of Ellen, you've heard of the Lad Bible, you've heard of BuzzFeed. The way we're able to get this is not just because this video went viral and was some like unicorn like Chewbacca Mom or whatever, but it's because we got some initial traction, we reached what we were looking for in terms of average watch time, these different things. And then when you start putting money against it, you want to target workplace targets, the media, and we call it Inception. So if you look here, let's see if there's one. So you can see we're targeting people who are employers, not people who have interest in these things, but who work at these places. CBS, the Boston Globe, Chicago Tribune, Newsday, CNN, New York Post. So you layer all these employers on top of each other. These are publishers, right? And then you can also target by job title. People that are writers, journalists, producers, directors of marketing, all these different things. So
Who's doing this? Who's set up a workplace targeting employers? Wow, that's pretty good. Does anyone want to share results? Is that working for you? Is it working pretty well? Okay, so when you have that target, an Inception target, you're trying to target the media. We're targeting Ellen, we're targeting Fox, we're targeting these other places so that we can get picked up. That's Inception, right? It's not that you're trying to get a journalist to buy your product, you're trying to get them to cover your product. So to get them to share your stuff, it has to be high enough authority. It has to be interesting enough, and it has to have some social proof against it. So this video, if it didn't have millions of views, then these journalists would say, well, I don't know if that's really significant. But if they see the thing's at 70 million views, they're going to pick that up. And it puts him on TV, right? So you have to look famous in a way that where you might not actually be. So the 1-minute video that's interesting, we're going to talk about what that formula is for $1 a day for 7 days, so $7 budget. Boosted on Facebook is how you get things going. That is how you overcome the chicken and egg to get your startup to grow. You guys get that? Who's making 1-minute videos? Okay, so who's doing 1-minute videos and spending $1 a day boosting those? Who has a public figure page? Not a profile, but a business page, like with Isaac here. You see this is a page? You have fans instead of friends. You can actually boost it. You've got analytics. Who's got a public figure page for themselves? Almost nobody. Who's a founder? An entrepreneur, someone trying to grow. Okay, then you have to be more like Josh Fector. Even though you don't want to be a personality, you don't want to speak on stage, you don't want to travel around and do this, you still, if you are trying to grow your business, people are going to have to interact with you. You have that knowledge because you're probably closing those deals. When you have a small company, everyone's in sales. So whatever you know that closes a customer, whatever kinds of stories, whatever kinds of successes you have, you've got to put those out there as 1-minute videos that you boost to the most authoritative folks. So let's say that you're selling something to dentists, for example. I don't know, you have some kind of SaaS service, right? Then who are the most authoritative people in that area? You need to interview them. You need to make 1-minute videos about that, right? You need to dominate that. You need to be a journalist because that's what carries the highest authority, not sales. If you do that, then you've created Inception because you are doing the dream inside the dream inside the dream. You know that movie Inception? You're making it seem like it was their idea. And that way it never looked like sales. My title is Chief Technology Officer, not Head of Sales, because if I was Head of Sales, you wouldn't respect me, right? I'm wearing a Facebook shirt. You should respect me. It's hard. You can't buy these things. You have to go to Facebook to see them. We're going to be at Facebook tomorrow morning to talk about analytics. Right? That's Inception. So think less about direct marketing and getting people to buy right away, and think about how do I influence those people that my customers would buy from so I can get those other people to do the marketing for me. You have to play chess 8, 9, 10 moves ahead.
So once you guys start making these 1-minute videos, we mentioned this earlier, I'm going to show how Isaac did this again. You're going to start, you're maybe wondering, where should I start? What do I begin with when I'm making 1-minute videos? You want to create a topic wheel. So me and Dennis were just at lunch with someone, and we're talking about most people, when they introduce themselves, they kind of associate themselves with what they do.
Someone's back here, Kobe
Yeah.
and John. They're awesome. They're not just someone's.
Yeah, they're fantastic. But most people associate themselves with what they do. I'm a banker, I'm an accountant, I'm a marketer. But really, the more powerful place to start is with your why, why you do what you do. And from there, go into finally what, because people don't really care too much necessarily probably about your service, but they do care about your story, your why, the passion behind it. So that's where you should start. So this topic wheel has 3 layers, and you want to build it around some different personas and stuff, but basically you get some different topics, start with your why, your passion, your story, create 1-minute videos around them, and then we talk about sequencing. So we can see here that Isaac has this one video, of course, that's taken off and it's been shared by all these different publications, but he's created, as we showed, some other videos, including this one, this why video, where he actually talks about the birth of his sons, and it was this really traumatic experience because, the operation didn't go as planned and some stuff. So we then take this video and boost it as a dark post to anyone that's watched the video of him talking with Bodhi, who was his son who got bullied, for at least 10 seconds, not 3 seconds, because a lot of people will get 3 seconds just on a view. So you want to retarget based off people that have watched at least 10 seconds, because that shows they have some intent, they stuck around. Then I'm going to show them this other video talking about his why story that they're going to connect with. And I can see I get a penny cost per view, reach 1,200, so I'm at $3 CPM. It's only spent a few dollars. We like to run things for $1 a day. If something really takes off, we'll put more money against it. But why put a bunch of money against something if you don't know how it's going to perform? Why just throw your budget away? So if you're making a lot of these videos and you have these different topics, so maybe this is your what, you do marketing and specifically you focus on SEO and Facebook and Google, and around each of these there's some different outlying topics. You make 1-minute videos, you post them all organically first. You see how they perform organically. Dennis talked about the importance of having a page. If we go back to Facebook, a page and a profile are different. Everyone in here has a profile. Few people have a page. When you have a page, you get access to the data, how your posts are performing organically, not just paid, using insights. So I can come here and see Isaac's put money against his, but even ones that he hasn't, Facebook will tell me how much reach it's getting. So I can see if I have 2 posts here, the one that is getting more reach is doing better. Facebook's giving me a signal saying, hey, this post, for whatever reason, people tend to resonate with more. They like it. It's getting more reach. It's getting more engagement. Of the 2, I'd put money against this one. So you want to build out your topic wheel, 1-minute videos, keep it short, keep it simple, 6 seconds to average watch time, so you have to get right to the point. If you beat around the bush or if you have a bumper with your videos, then you're going to fall into that category where people are going to bail from your video. Because Facebook is not like Google. People don't have intent, right? People go on Facebook just to basically entertain themselves. They're scrolling through a feed. So whatever your content is, it has to have some degree of stopping power. It can't just be talking about your product or showing your bumper. People aren't going to stick around for that. They're watching on their mobile device. They expect to see some content that's being shared from their friends. So if it has some stopping power in terms of a good thumbnail and then a good intro with a hook, which we'll go about, we have a 4-step kind of formula, but that's what will get people to stick around and boost your average watch time. You'll start there. Make sure you have a page. Post them on your page. If it's new, that's okay. It'll take some time to build traction. And then you boost for $1 a day for 7 days for your winners. We see maybe 1 in 5, if you're good, is a winner. I mean, Josh can testify. It's not like every post Josh puts up is gold. They're pretty good, though. They're pretty close. But about 1 in 5 posts is probably one that you'll put money against.
And you can recycle what you have in terms of blog posts, or if you have events like this, you're going to record those. Or you make videos that turn into blog posts and into podcasts. Then you share that across Instagram and YouTube and all these other different places. Josh is the king at automation on sharing these kinds of things. But the key is you're making these little stories. And this outside wheel is the why stories, where you're interviewing other people. You're telling your story. And people, they love the story where there's something to overcome. There's a typical 3-part Hollywood story arc where there's some kind of problem. Oh, when I was 15, this thing happened to me. Motivational speakers actually all follow the same arc. I almost committed suicide, but then magic happened and I've got Ferraris and Lamborghinis and I fly first class, right? And as a result, this is what I do and this is what I want you to buy because I believe in this kind of mission, right? When you have, that's the why, right? When I was, and you have other people tell these stories. When I was starting out as an entrepreneur, I came to San Francisco, I had no money, I didn't have anything going on, but I started to hustle and I organized these events. And as a result, this is what I've learned and this is what I want to share with you, right? This is what I do. And I believe that anyone can be an entrepreneur. I believe that. Right? If you come in and say, oh, you should buy my guide on how to grow, you should hire me as an ambassador for you, or that's not going to work. Whatever product you're trying to sell is in the middle of that wheel, right? The middle of that wheel, your product, that orange, that's what you're selling. That's the what. People don't resonate with the what. They resonate with the why. Start with why, Simon Sinek, right? So you have the videos that have the highest authority of all these other people where they're talking about what they believe. And so that confers authority to you if you don't have a brand, if you're not that well known. And these stories then you collect into topics. So if people who watch video 1 on topic 1, then you're going to then show video 2 in topic 1. Just like if you like this song, you might also listen to that song. You're on Amazon. People who bought this, they also bought that. So why wouldn't you do the same thing with your content? So if you've got a content library that's composed of a topic wheel, you're not trying to do 5 blog posts a week and 8 tweets per day, or you're not trying to mechanically crank out content like it's a volume thing. You're systematically thinking about how every piece of content is evergreen and fits into this structure. It's just like the sperm trying to get to the egg. They come in the outside, and they're trying to get in, and they want... That's not a good analogy, is it? You guys are filming. I shouldn't have said that.
That's not how you guys think about your content? What's wrong with you guys?
That's right. You're going for the conversion. So that's how. So the viral outside is how you're able to tell stories. That's Inception, because the seed within those stories is already talking about the pain that you are solving all the way down to the product level. You are playing this game. A good magician has already done the trick before you even realized his hands have moved. That's what you've got to do as a real pro marketer. You have to organize those levels, because if you're just making random pieces of content, random blog posts about your stuff because someone told you read an ebook on how to do this, you're just wasting your time. Because if it doesn't have authority and linkage to topics, if those topics don't link together into the problem that you're solving, that is then the product that you have, whatever product or service you offer, has to be mapped back to those topics that then map back to the people that can talk authoritatively about that, whether or not they're a customer or even a competitor of yours. We love interviewing competitors. It's fantastic. It works so well. They can't say no to that because you have the authority.
Yeah, a few weeks ago we were in London with, the LinkedIn business rock star, Jason Miller. So
Just do a Google search.
Shirts.
Do a Google search, Jason Miller, and my name or your name, or go to Facebook and search. Camera guys are having a hard time trying to decide who to focus on.
So we work with Facebook, we're kind of known for that, but it's not like we view LinkedIn or Google or these guys that work for these other platforms as our competitors. We don't think Jason Miller is trying to steal our traffic and get people to come to LinkedIn. So a few months ago, Jason had us, he has, how many of you guys have heard of Jason Miller? Some? Man, Josh gets every answer right. That's the Sophisticated Marketers podcast, hosted by Jason Miller, Dennis, and Logan Young. And then we met with them, and his office, took some pictures, and we made some 1-minute videos with him. So he started doing his own, topic wheel, and not about how to run LinkedIn ads or what's the secret to, whatever. It's about just random things that Jason has expertise at. Some of it was just random stuff, like he's really into Iron Maiden and all AC/DC and all these like English bands and stuff. So we made some 1-minute videos about that, just his why, stuff people actually care about, that people can come in on. And then eventually, I said, you do these sequences, you lead them into the topics. I would do LinkedIn, but I also, I'm this business rock star, and I have this podcast, and then that leads into your what finally. And this is the approach most people don't take, because a lot of people today have the get rich quick mentality. You guys have seen this, right? Everybody wants it, get rich quick. Like on Facebook, everybody's posting, would you like to make 7 figures next year? Here's how you do it in 3 easy steps, and all this kind of stuff. So everyone wants to start with their what. They just want to sell their product. But anyone that actually has a long-term vision and is willing to put in the work and long-term play to get there, if you're willing to respect the process rather than just wanting to get it overnight, this is the way that we've seen it work and be successful. Start with your why, take the time, build out your topic wheel, make some 1-minute videos. Josh made some 1-minute videos with us. We posted them. And then work into your what.
You guys want to hear about that? Logan's a celebrity too. Yeah?
Not the type of celebrity you necessarily want to be.
Bit by a dog before?
Kobe has.
So I do a search for Logan Young, and I see that he shows up as a person, as a user profile. Oh, look, he was flying United. I'm on United right now. Who is this? Cool. Thanks. This is the risk of doing something live, whoever Kim is. I'm on United right now, and is that someone here? I'm sorry, is that you? No? Okay. I'm on United right now, and the captain has asked the lady behind me to move seats. Video cameras at the ready, people, right? And here he's sharing content, right? Just like any person would share content. But if we go to the pages, using graph search, here he is as a public figure. And as a public figure, look, you've got to have authority. He's speaking at social media marketing world. Well, if you're a social media person, that's probably where you're going to carry a lot of authority. And then there's a series of these posts. Look, the pin post. We're hanging out with the Oakland Raiders because we have pro sports teams, for example, is one vertical that we serve.
How many of you guys are watching the finals game tomorrow night? Warriors? Anyone?
You guys follow the NBA? Yeah? You guys know about the Golden State Warriors? Who's heard of this is a good basketball team. This basketball team's doing really well right now.
How many of you guys are watching the hockey finals?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Hey? For sure, you betcha. Hey? And you heard the joke about how they named Canada, right? They put all the letters in the bag, and they had to draw out the letters, so it was a C. A? N. A? No, I'm kidding. So he's posting on his... You guys are a tough crowd.
I'm not sure they appreciate the humor.
Oh, we're just Americans. We have guns and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So he's got these posts, and he's boosting it, right? And some posts work depending on what stage of the funnel. And you don't have to be one of these motivational speaker people. Well, oh, he's in front of Singapore. There's the Marina Bay Sands. You guys have probably seen that. There's other places. There's Penn and Teller. There's us at Google being ridiculous. Logan always has his eyes closed in these photos. So we have to take like 3 or 4 of them. But then he's recording videos on how does a 1-minute video work? Or how do you set up a funnel? Or how do you optimize Facebook ads? Or how do you know when your ads are burnt out? Or whatever it is, right? And some of them, they start to take off. So you can see the organic reach is 3,000 and the paid reach is 133. What's going on with these viral kinds of videos is, I don't want to say viral video like cats or whatever, is that there's a multiplier that you don't realize. And that is when there's paid that drives other people. So if all the signals look good, average watch time, engagement rate, one paid impression will give you another 20 or 30 additional organic impressions that don't show up when you're looking at the stats in Ads Manager. You guys follow me? Like you think you're looking at the stats, you're actually missing it. So a lot of this in the light orange is actually driven by the dark orange. And I can prove that to you because of what's going on right now for the Golden State Warriors for a basketball team. We post 20 to 30 videos a day, and I can show you how when we boost, especially if there's some kind of highlight, the more viral it is, the greater that multiplier is onto the organic side, into Google search, into email open rates, into all these other channels, right? And if you don't measure that impact, then you're going to say, you know what, I tried social media and it didn't work. Well, have you seen the increase in your brand search terms? Have you seen more people coming to your profile? Have you seen more people signing up for your email? Have you seen this kind of effect? And it's not something that you just blindly believe in. It's something that you put out there and you are actively testing. Because you can split test just like, you know, you have a pharmaceutical pill that does something and some people get the pill and some people get the sugar pill, right? To measure, and you randomize, and you can do that on Facebook. You can do that on Google. You can have your ads on and off based on day parting. You can take an email audience and randomize 50% over here and 50% over here. These people get the email and these people don't. These people get hit with Facebook targeting ads and these ones don't. And are they more likely to open email? Not are they more likely to click on that Facebook ad and buy the thing or sign up or go to the webinar or register or whatever it is, right? And we can clearly see that. And it's not exactly fair because when we do this for a team like the Warriors, we get huge, huge engagement. We'll have posts that will go up to 20, 30 million, right? Especially like when we win a game or something. Steph Curry hangs out with President Obama. That one's kind of hard for you to repeat, right? Somebody once said that the reason why we're successful, or the way that you have a successful Facebook ads agency is that you find the #1 sports team in the world right now and you become, you run their ads. But we actually can measure the lift on that. It's not that the team's winning. That gives us a multiplier. We can measure the lift that occurs when we boost something and when we don't because we intentionally hold back certain audiences. All right, let's go back to Logan. Logan's got a page. And he's posting different things, and some of them they take off and some don't. Oh, look, last week he was on GoDaddy's page doing a live stream. 5,000 views because it wasn't boosted, but you can take snippets off of this. This is a 1 hour, 11 minutes. You can take snippets and reuse those. See?
Targeting options in terms of your data. So you want to make sure you're
And if there's something good, if they say something good, let's see if I can find one.
In an hour and 11 minutes, there's bound to be at least like one good thing, right?
See, these things come out. You just need to, if you're there long enough, they'll come out. So you need a team of video editors that are pulling this stuff out. They got to sit through this whole thing, pull out snippets. That's not why you do live video. But listen to this. You're not asking for a testimonial.
So you guys, one more time, Personal Branding Guide is available for download with the discount, blitzmetrics.com/PBG. You use the discount code ILOVEHEATHER, all caps.
See? Now that's pretty good, right? And you've got that on GoDaddy's page. Have you guys heard of GoDaddy before? They do like domains and things like that, right? Right? So that's fantastic. You can take someone else's post and you can share it. That's how you get the kind of credibility. What do you think has more authority? Us saying to GoDaddy's customers, yeah, you should do some of the things we were talking about with 1-minute videos and such, or GoDaddy saying, as GoDaddy, this is exactly what you want to do. This is the best thing to do. This is how things work. So if you're really doing Inception, you have to think, where's that highest authority? And it's not your site. So if we want to incept other pro sports teams to become our clients so we can run Facebook ads to drive ticket sales for them, are we going to put it on the Blitzmetrics blog, or are we going to put it on Facebook's blog? And we have an article on Facebook, right, how the Warriors drove a 29x ROAS. We put in $1, got back $29 in ticket sales, on and on and on and on. A whole checklist, just like Josh openly shares. Here it is. Blitzmetrics does this. Josh publishes his badass marketing and founders, interviews, all these things that are compiled. Fantastic, right? Are you sharing stuff openly? Openly as in you don't even need to put in an email to get it, right? When you're doing this, then people will say, holy smokes, those guys are actually really good at what they do, and we're going to try to follow the same stuff. I don't want to pay. I just want to get the, okay, here it is. Here's the guide for the other teams in the NBA and NHL and so forth on how do you run Facebook ads to drive sales step by step. How do you name these audiences? How do you organize them? How do you organize the content in such a way? How do you set up the tracking? Step by step, this is how we do it, right? Oh, but if they get this, then they're not going to want to hire you because you just gave away how this stuff works. No, actually, they look at this and they say, holy shit, this thing's way more complicated than I thought. Here it is, right? The key is, though, you need a lighthouse. And a lighthouse client is... Uh-oh, what's going on here? Oh, well, I guess the live stream didn't actually end, did it? I wonder if some bloopers there. So when you have this kind of content, it creates authority, and it's never based on trying to sell people. It's never you talking about yourself, saying how you're better than the other product or whatever. There's no pitching. It's about actually sharing because you believe in something, and it's amplified because the other people in the industry that are authoritative, based on this topic wheel, are all agreeing that this is the case. If you do not have this kind of agreement, then I have to ask you, are you really in the right place? Do you really have a good product or service? Can you really force that thing uphill if you don't have that kind of traction? Right? This conference is called Traction. To build traction, you need to start with a seed, some kind of proof that you can turn into a lighthouse, that you can actively teach step by step how you did something. Josh has got tons of this. Josh has got tons of these videos. How he became an entrepreneur. What does it take to become an entrepreneur? He's got all these stories, right? Here, let's just play one of them. And we put together a series of these 1-minute videos because we want to practice what we preach. Oh shoot, hang on. Hang on a minute. Where's that thing? Where's the thing that's got the sound on? I got to kill that thing. All right, sorry. I kill that one. Let's go back to YouTube.
And to allow people the
No.
Faster, then I have to make more money faster so I can pay off like her debts and really help her. And to me, that was just all the motivation I needed to step outside my comfort zone and be like, Josh, like you can no longer go down this route.
Now, Inception is, it has to be their words, and it has to be on the highest authority sites, right? The authority comes, can you guys see that? Not very well, sorry. Authority comes from the highest authority content by the highest authority people on the highest authority sites. So Josh, we know, has amazing reach when we boost to anyone who cares about growth hacking. He's the guy, more than all the other people, for sure. We've used Google Trends, you can tell, right? And he's got great content, as you already know. We've got all these other people that are tied around this network of Josh, and we put it on places where it's going to be seen. So when we have Josh's public figure page, this is not his profile. This is his public figure page that we can boost off of. Can you see this? Sorry that this screen is screwed up. I bet you these messages are people that want to hire you or ask you to speak or what have you, right? He's got lots of authority because he's speaking at these different places, so clearly he must know what he's talking about. And he's got videos where he's sharing good information because he's got a good story, a good knowledge, and his techniques work. People try it. There's a boost against it. But let's see, even someone who is a super pro, let's see how his stuff performs. 3482 reach, 2,400 views. Logan said if we get north of 50%, we're doing pretty well. The average is 30%. So that's not bad, right? But then do people stick around? We know the average watch time is 6 seconds. What is our average watch time here? 11 seconds. Can you see that? Not quite. 11 seconds. That's pretty good. That's still double what the average is on Facebook, but we're looking for a unicorn. We're looking for north of 20 seconds. So this is not bad. The view-through rate at 60% is very good. We got the attention, but we didn't get him to stick. So why is that? Is that because of what happened in the first few seconds of the video?
With Facebook, it definitely became a pure pay-to-play club now. Like, reach just collapsed. That doesn't mean that you should not strive.
You know what it is? I think it's because this guy talking for the first 5 or 6 seconds kills the views. I think if we recut this to have the first few seconds be Josh, I think you'd get that 20-second view. Because this is a minute-long video, but maybe the great nuggets are up at 20, 30 seconds, right? So if people bail out at 5 seconds, they completely miss the good stuff that's there. You could be so close to a home run, but you just lost it because you started with the wrong intro, or you started with a bumper, or something dumb where your logo came across the screen and the music. Like dumb things that people do. I don't know why they do that. Here's another one. How to rank your content on Google faster. I don't have that kind of patience. I don't like to watch videos, but I actually sat through this whole 3-minute video. I thought it was pretty good, right?
Play a big part in ranking SEO, and then we're going to go after post.
So yeah, you want to rank your content on Google faster. Of course you do. Now let's look at the stats and see. I don't care if I thought the content was good. I'm going to let the numbers tell me. 13 seconds. That's good. It's not great. It's better than most marketers. Most marketers are still stuck at 5 and 6 seconds. But he's testing. And he has more and more video, more pictures, more posts, right? You can see the engagement rate here. 619 reach on organic, and we only had 13, 14. We're looking for north of 10%. We're north of 10%, we're going to boost. But it doesn't mean that we're only going to post things that are going to go viral. Because some things are just for conversion, some things are for niche audiences, right? You're not only going by one metric. There's going to be multiple metrics. Because you want to show personality. So here's another one. Silicon Valley hustle, live it, love it, and here Josh is documenting what's going on in his life. He's walking around and doing Josh things in Silicon Valley. Now, how is that doing? 1 minute 19. What do you think? Is that better? Now, what would you trade? A minute 19, that's 79 seconds. So what do you think's better? 10 viewers at 7.9 seconds or 1 view at a minute 19? That 1 view's worth more, right? I'd rather have 100 super passionate people that love what I'm doing than 1,000 people that kind of know about what I'm doing, right? I need to identify who those people are. And if I don't have those people, something's wrong. If you try to amplify without having this in place, you're just making chicken salad out of chicken shiitake, right? So this is something you'd want to amplify because Facebook's giving you a signal that this is good. Question?
So that video is obviously more than a minute.
That's okay. Yeah, that's true. So 7 minutes, but even still. It's true. The longer the video is, the longer, on average, the average watch time is. But we've seen people do things like upload their TED video where they talk for 15 minutes or what have you, and they're still at 5 or 6 seconds.
Yeah, and if you guys know Josh, you know he's kind of like the king of long-form content. One of the reasons we prescribe 1-minute videos to people is because we want people to quit babbling, basically. So 1 minute makes them get right to the point. It's not saying that if it's longer than a minute, it can't perform, or that none of your videos can exceed a minute, but the starting point we recommend is 1 minute for a few of those reasons.
If you lose them at 6 seconds, it doesn't matter if the thing's an hour. You can upload a video that's an hour long. I think it's 3 gig or 4 gig. They raised the limit on what it could be. So here's Mark Lack. He's the young Tony Robbins. And we helped build his brand. We started doing this 3 years ago. Now, he was successful before in terms of he went to the World Championship for paintballing, and he hung out with celebrities and was quite successful in terms of coaching, right, helping young adults. But he didn't become really famous or break it into the A-list until the last year when he was interviewing people like Tony Robbins and Richard Branson and all those sorts of people, right? You know who these people are, right? So here he's interviewing Tai Lopez. Have you heard of Tai Lopez? At least somebody's heard of these people. Okay. So Inception is playing chess multiple steps ahead. So what do? We interview Tai Lopez. We have the B-roll. We have everything else, and we're boosting it. And let's look at our average watch time, 55 seconds. For, I think, a 7-minute video, not bad, right? And it's leveraging his audience. It's as if he were to give us his email list and allow us to mail against it. Can you imagine that? If you could have anyone's email list and you can mail against it, that's what we're doing here. Because we have his endorsement, and by interviewing him for an hour or 2 hours, what are the odds that somewhere along the way he's going to say something amazing about Mark Lack? Question?
It's a good example. Tai Lopez, I think, got a few laughs in the audience. What is he maybe doing wrong?
What do you mean doing wrong? He's
Like
getting
you
attention.
don't know who he is?
He's infamous, but he's better than famous.
Okay.
Just go to YouTube tonight and watch some videos, and then maybe you'll see him.
You guys know Tai Lopez. He's fun to make fun of, but you got to give him credit, right? Because I mean, there's a lot of people doing the Gary Vaynerchuk, Tai Lopez thing. Yeah.
Okay, but he's the guy that comes to mind immediately when you gave the example of guys going straight for the kill and not doing the circle around. Because every single one of his videos is, sign up for my 15-week course. Like every single one.
He can do that now because he has the audience and because he's become a caricature of himself. Yeah. If you don't have the audience and you try that, good luck. See, a lot of people want to do the Gary Vaynerchuk thing where they follow themselves around with the camera all the time. It's not going to work because only Gary or him or Mr. 10X or all these other Tony can follow that kind of strategy. It's only once you have the audience that you can behave that way. You see what I mean? Okay. So if you've got lots of this proof and you stack social proof, you might not start out with interviewing the Tai Lopez of your industry, whoever that might be, whatever vertical. You might start off by interviewing a B-level person, but the key is you're interviewing other people, creating 1-minute videos. If you don't have the time to edit, go to Fiverr. You guys know about Fiverr? Fancy Hands, Upwork. There's lots of these places, $3 an hour. These people will do. I mean, it's amazing. I'm not going to tell you who our people are because I don't want you to steal them. It's taken us a while to go through lots and lots of people to find the VAs that we really, want to keep. But you'll see that we're interviewing these people, and you got to have a speaker reel. If you want to become famous and have your book, the book's a new business card, this kind of thing, right? You got to publish these books. You can have a VA symbol, that kind of stuff too. Everyone will give you good testimonials about it if you give a testimony about their thing, but no one ever reads anyone else's book, so that's fine. That's just what it is. You sort of have to do it. And you can write articles or have articles written about you. So here, he shared, entrepreneur, just rank me in the top 10 brands for personal branding experts. And here it is, and we've boosted it to all the people that would hire him as a coach, to all the people that run various conferences based on workplace targets. So here it is, 10 personal branding experts to follow this year. Number 1, Leonard Kim. We're admin on that too. Number 2 is me. Number 3, Cynthia. Guess what? We're all, it doesn't matter. Like when you are, Daniel, oh my goodness, thank you. Whatever he said. That's great, right? Thumbs up. He saw it too, right? This is the risk of trying to message me. If you try to message me, I don't even know what he said. So the key to Inception is that you have to be, have you guys seen The Wizard of Oz? Like, don't look behind the curtain, right? The Graham minutes, same kind of thing. Leonard just gave his TED Talk, TEDx Talk for people that actually know. It's not a real TED Talk, but that's okay. Most people don't know. A few days ago, right? Then we take that video, and that makes them famous because we're boosting it, right? And we're sharing the same thing, 25 marketing influencers to watch. I'm on all these lists too, because I will write articles about it. I write for Adweek, I write for lots of places, and they write, we do this sort of thing. You're not supposed to trade, but there's kind of a wink wink going on, right? Hey everyone, I'm here at the TEDx thing, I'm rehearsing. You've got these different posts that maybe 1 out of every 10 posts or 20 posts we're selling something. But you're not going to sell immediately because you've got to sequence people all the way through. And they're not going to get to the post that you're selling unless they've consumed other content of yours. right? What do you think about failure? Oh, there's meme things. It didn't work. 355 reach, 11 people liked it, we're not at 10%. Not worth boosting, right? But when we find something that does work, here I'll show you a few examples. You don't have to be the TED speaker. I'm making fun of the motivational speaker, that kind of thing, but there are some principles to learn from this. All right, here's Brandon Farbstein. This is off of his page. He's got his blue check mark. I have a blue check mark too. You can choose to have your blue check mark on either your page or your profile if Facebook allows you to have that. It's probably the number one request that I get. Can I get them a blue check mark? And I tell them I don't work at Facebook. Enough money though. Listen. So you can see that he has pinned is his TED Talk. And it does pretty well. Oops. Why is that not working? Oh. Well, anyway. He has dwarfism. When I was, this whole thing happened. And because of this, I believe that nobody should be bullied. I believe that we can all make a difference and overcome our fears. I believe that I have a dream that one. And as a result, this is what I do. I'm a public speaker. I've got a book on how do you talk to your kids about bullying. I have a course that I sell. I have this product, right? When I was. Therefore, I believe that whatever. What do you believe in? That's your topic, by the way. Those topics are, I believe in these different things. And therefore, this is the product. If you're trying to sell that product, you have to think about what that pain is and then who's expressing the pain. That's the outside wheel that we're talking about, right? That's your topic wheel. This outside wheel of all the stories, 1-minute videos, excuse me, they go into the topics of what you believe in. Because if you're going to solve a problem, if your product or service solves a legit problem, then there's lots of components to it. There's lots of sub-issues. And it's not just targeting around, oh, this thing's for moms, and then this thing's for busy entrepreneurs. Like, that's not how you organize topics. You organize topics by the problem that you're solving and the aspects of that problem, right? And then that's, your answer is the middle, is your product or service. Question?
I've been waiting to see if maybe you got to this, but I was wondering with the first example, Isaac talks about bullying. How does that eventually relate to GoDaddy?
GoDaddy, that's a good question. Want me to take that or you take it?
I can start. Yeah, so Isaac runs all the personal brands for GoDaddy, like we talked about. And GoDaddy encourages their employees, including Isaac, to build their own personal brands. So as part of that, part of Isaac's personal brand is not just what he does, that he works for GoDaddy, but it's who he is as a person. And a big part of who he is that he's a father and he's super passionate about his kids. So for him, that goes back to his topic of being an expert on personal branding and what his own personal brand is. What is his own why? What is his own story, his own passion? Then that leads into, oh, I also do this for GoDaddy, which he talks about in his why video. The second video we showed to people at the end, he says he runs the personal brands and he likes to doing speaking, these different things. But yeah, it is, from a stone's throw away, there's no direct correlation. But for him, because he works in the personal branding space, it's super important that he has his own, story fleshed out.
Let's answer the question another way. So you guys have all heard of GoDaddy, right? So it's not like GoDaddy has to advertise, oh yeah, we're GoDaddy. And you can buy domains and get hosting and get emails and that, right? It's not like you need to know what GoDaddy does, right? But when you think of GoDaddy, what do you think of? Domains. What else do you think of? Yeah, shooting elephants. What else do you think of? Exactly.
Danica Patrick.
Yeah. So there's some negative stuff that people associate with GoDaddy, even though what's his face, who's the previous CEO, is it Gary, or he left 4 years ago, right? Now they got Blake as their new CEO, and they're a completely different company. They're not about hot chicks and boobs and shooting elephants and that's who they were a long time ago, right? But they have a branding, they have had a branding issue to overcome. And so the folks that run digital and social and marketing and all this are trying to say, I'm answering your question in an indirect way, but I want you to think about how Inception works. To be able to change the mass media and audience and customer, this global-based opinion, to be able to change that opinion, we have to get people to see GoDaddy in a different light. And so if you just produce more NASCAR commercials and sponsor more Super Bowl ads and more things like that, it's going to be more of the same because people can't hear you when they see that. But if you take the stories, real authentic stories of individuals who work at GoDaddy, of their CEO, and here's his favorite margarita mix and here's how he's making it, and it's very authentic. Here's Isaac, and he's with his kids. You're not going to hate on that, right? And if you equip all of the brands, all the personal brands within GoDaddy, and all the products and companies that GoDaddy owns. Did you know GoDaddy owns all these other multi-billion-dollar companies, all as part of GoDaddy, right? If you humanize that, then you see GoDaddy through the lens of all the different employees, whether they have tattoos, or they're bisexual, or they travel a lot, or they are WordPress developers. You start to see the wide kaleidoscope of people that make up GoDaddy, that are customers of GoDaddy. In all their conference rooms, each of their conference rooms is a different customer. For example, our favorite one is the Fong Conference Room, which is a restaurant in San Francisco. And they've got it all laid out with the menu, and it's decorated, it's got pictures. It's as if you're like sitting inside that one restaurant that has all of their services with GoDaddy, right? It helps you identify, it helps the employees identify. So when Isaac, who manages all the public figures, all the executives and the employees, the personal brands, when he is helping these people take step by step the tasks to create a public figure page, get your website, tell your story, grow your business, when he's showing that GoDaddy is able to do this at scale. So we do this, for example, there's a group within GoDaddy called GD Vets, and that's all the veterans that have served the United States in various wars, and we're helping them grow their businesses on how do you shoot firearms, or how do you train your dog, or how do you overcome fear, or how do you, all the different businesses that these guys have. It humanizes it, and so you're going to identify with one of these people instead of this generic GoDaddy kind of brand, right? When you identify with, because one of these stories that we're putting out there across all these people will identify with you, and then that connection will change your opinion of who GoDaddy is. So that's what Inception is connecting at that story level. Because if that story where they say they believe, I believe that, whatever, right? Then you're like, yeah, I believe that too. And then you see the related topics then if you agree with these topics, you agree with the brand and what the brand stands for. You will buy their products. I had a McDonald's quarter pounder at 1 a.m. this morning after I landed at YVR because everything else was closed. And we saw some cookies that were flashing on the screen. It said happiness with chocolate chip cookies. I'm like, dang it, I fall for that thing all the time. I want some cookies now. Their cookies are not any better, but it said happiness. It said happiness, and it had cookies right there at the same time. Like, oh man, I need some, but I'm a marketer. I know better than that, right? That's what's going on. So the ultimate inception, think about this. This will blow your mind. So for us to have GoDaddy as a customer, we've incepted them on how this program needs to roll out for all their executives and their whole company. If I wanted to get GoDaddy as our customer, I wouldn't just try to knock on the door or try to set up a call with their CMO or something and try to pitch why we're better at Facebook ads than all the other agencies out there that say they're good at Facebook ads. No, we incept them because we incept their public figures. Before we even get paid, we build these friendships, and we actually deliver value in advance, which Josh teaches all the time. You deliver that value in advance, and it's so good that they want to implement that across the entire company. So before there's even an exchange of financial value or what have you, they already we've incepted them into this strategy of $1 a day videos put into the topic wheel that creates brand growth, custom audiences that you then remarket into a sale. You see that? So we've incepted GoDaddy by actually paying it forward and giving and word of mouth or whatever you want to call that, right? But we plan these steps years in advance by building these relationships as humans, by demonstrating expertise, by sharing openly. Are you capturing these things? I bet you're not. Do you have an active process? This is not a software thing. There's no software to sell here. This is process. You got to be, because you have to be able to reply. I don't care how smart you are with your autoresponders and canned robots and all this bot stuff. I think that's super noisy. That's just like when the email spam thing began 15 years ago. Just ways of trying to automate things that are really human. You've got to be capturing these things, and when you get them, You've got to stick them into your content library. Every time you speak, every time you get quoted, anytime you have multiple figures. So we have multiple figureheads within our company. Guess what? We're managing the personal brands of these people as well. Whether they are supporters and partners, it could be like a Josh or a Jason Miller or Heather or Isaac. They're all partners of ours. And so what's beautiful is that folks like Josh, they're incepting us because we're doing video editing and stuff like that for free on his page and boosting it with our dollars. Like, he's incepted us. We believe in him so much that we're willing to do these services for him for free, like he talked about. You got to be pretty damn good to fool me and get me to fall for your thing and promote you at a conference instead of promoting our stuff. You got to be pretty good to do that, right? And if I do a search in my Gmail, Josh Fector from me, you can see that we have built a relationship over time. Speaking at his events, hanging out at the Warriors games, whatever it might be. You can see that there's these articles. He mentions us. We mention him. He says he doesn't share or like once or twice a day because he shares the ones that count. Because if, those friends, they like everything. Oh, that was the best meal. That was the best movie. You don't believe anything because everything's the best for them, right? But when he says, I feel like I won the lottery. I spent yesterday with Dennis and Logan. They do the Warriors and some of the biggest names and had a blast talking, and we made some videos, right? And all these other people liked it. Guess what? Now his audience is aware of us, and we've gotten this endorsement, and we're going to boost that, right? And we're going to boost it to his page, and we're going to make sure everyone's a fan on the page. You see how Inception works? You get other people to talk about you, and then you talk about them, but you never talk about yourself. You see that? Are you thinking this way? Because that's what Inception's about. That's where the power comes from, these $1 a day, 1-minute videos that you boost for $1 a day into the topics, and you're collecting email addresses, because once you want to learn about a topic, that's more than you can handle in a 1-minute video. You need to collect an email address for that one, because then there's some things that LinkedIn showed us. You have videos coming to LinkedIn. The analytics are kind of weak, but all the other networks allow you to post on natively, post video natively. So if you break down each of these 6 steps into the corresponding components, either you or someone else that you hire can follow these checklists. Probably the most common thing we hear at events like this is, hey, that's great, all this kind of stuff, but I'm busy doing this other stuff. Can you recommend people to hire? And we'll say, if they're just like Josh will say, well, if they're any good, we probably would have hired them or something like that. Good luck trying to compete against that base where those people know they're in such high demand they can charge whatever they want, and then once they do this thing for you, then they're gone, and then you're just not going to win that game. What you got to do is find other people that are going to be loyal, that are going to do it the right way, that care about your content, and that means building from. You need to build other people, like college kids. Or your existing customers, you reward them by giving them free t-shirts, for example, right? When you build within and you teach them this framework, it's not that you're trying to do it cheaper, like trying to hire from India or VAs or that. You're doing it because that gives you long-term value. And the people that are promoting, that are driving your strategy is your goals, content, and targeting, are the people that are real customers. If they don't know your brand, if they don't know what you stand for, how can they possibly promote it? They could be Josh Fector, but if they don't know what you do, then it's not legitimate, and the content and the sequences and the video that you're producing is not going to be authentic because they won't know what actually counts. Think about what you do. Think about the stories that you tell. It's got to start from your why story and the stories of other people that believe in you. And I don't mean the friends and the family. I mean the people that actually use your product and service. Right? That's your goals, content, and targeting. The unique combination of goals, content, and targeting is your strategy. It is channel independent. It has nothing to do with Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever the latest, Instagram automation stuff is. It's not that. When you get the strategy right, your funnel, by definition, is in place. And then you can start amplifying. Then you can do all these cool techniques. And look over this. Oh, squirrel. You can see all these different things that are occurring. Once you have your strategy right. But if you don't have your goals, content, and targeting, no amount of, did you know Facebook just released this one thing? Yeah, I know. But you don't have your goals, content, and targeting right first. You don't have your funnel and your sequences and your why and your content library. And you don't have that right. I do that first before trying to, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to hire Josh Fector. I'm going to hire these other. No, you can't. Because you need to have this in place first. Because it's your story, because only you can tell the why of when I was this thing happened to me, and because of this I started a company, and this is what our thing does. right? You have to define that, right? You have to infect other people first. You have to initiate that. And then the rest of it is amplification. But you can't amplify off of a zero. You have to start with something. You can have all of the foundational elements in place in terms of the marketing stack and all the tools, and no offense to all the different tools out there, that's great. But tools don't suffice for having the funnel and the story. Just like all these people sign up for Infusionsoft, or maybe they sign up for Autopilot, but they have no list. Well, you can have the best tool, email marketing tool or whatever, there's no list, you're not going to do you any good, okay? I'm sorry. No, really, I can't tell you how many times we have this conversation. Oh, but you can do Facebook ads. Yeah, you can, but you're missing the funnel and you don't have any videos, and that's the biggest thing, right? And so when you have your content and you go by the why to the how, which is topics, to the what, which is your product, then you've got awareness, engagement, and conversion. You've got the outside ring of these 1-minute videos. You've got topics where you've collected an email, and then you have the center where you're getting conversion. They're paying for something, right? The business objectives that align with Google, Facebook, and Twitter actually fit almost perfectly. Driving video views, boosting posts for engagement, that's mid-funnel. We're in the green here. Collecting email addresses, which is how you start to move into the orange. And then website clicks and conversions, which is getting the money.
Yeah, we talked earlier about the power of Facebook that most people don't use is sequencing. How many of you guys that are running Facebook ads are using custom audiences? Not just like creating a lookalike, everyone does that, but I guess retargeting using video, websites, different things. Okay, good. Make sure you guys, when you retarget too, the most other common mistake we see is we go and look at people's ad accounts and they're retargeting based off like website visitors for the past 180 days. And you should probably start with a smaller window than that. We like to do 1, 7, and 28. The further someone moves from taking an action, whether it's watching your video or visiting your site or interacting with your page or your app, the less likely they are to purchase your product or opt in for your service or whatever it is. People are irrational in their purchasing and their decision making. So you want to get them the closest to when they took the action. Your one-day retargeting audiences, assuming you have enough traffic, will be your most powerful. Don't just blanket everyone into this huge, 180-day email list. You know, that's too long. If someone took some action half a year ago, it means nothing. You know, they're not going to remember it. They're not going to remember some video they watched or one website among many that they went to on any given day. So you have a short window. So use retargeting, use small windows. 1, 7, and 28, those are the windows Facebook uses for their attribution. We like to stay in line with them with our retargeting. And make sure you guys are using sequences across your funnel, because most people aren't, and if they are, they're just kind of doing it in this huge blanketed way that doesn't really work.
1-minute videos on the outside, boosted for $1 a day as part of your topic wheel. We've talked about that. To Logan's point, you could be boosting all these videos, and maybe you have one that's a hit, and you become famous or whatever. It doesn't mean, like, not everyone needs to get 80 million views to be able to be successful, okay? Sometimes even 1,000 impressions is enough because it gets the right deal, the right partner, the right thing in place. The key to what Logan's saying is, don't just stop there. When you have something that's working and you've boosted it, you then need to remarket into that. So people who watched video A, sequence them to video B. People who have seen video C, send them to this other thing to collect an email address. Only you can plan out what that funnel looks like. You could use an Autopilot or an Infusionsoft. You could do it natively here. You can do it in Excel or Google Docs. There's so many different ways that you can set up the sequences. But the point of a sequence is it can't start unless people are coming from something that's powerful where it's a good first touch. First touch of what you sell and what you do is a terrible first touch. That's like a homeless person coming up to us at dinner saying, hey, you want to buy my stuff? Like, dude, get out of here. We're having dinner, man. Get out. I don't even know who you are. Stop asking me for money, right? Just like all the people that hit me up. If you look at my inbox here and all these people that are hitting me up, they're asking me for money, or can you give me a blue check mark? And I got so pissed on the plane 2 days ago, I wrote this blog post on 6 things never to ask me. Don't ask me for a blue check mark. Don't ask me to fund your thing and pitch your stuff. Don't ask me for tickets to the Warriors. Don't ask me for, like, you know. Dennis, my buddy, man, how you been doing? It's been a long time. Okay, I'm waiting. When are you going to ask? You're asking. Oh, did I hear it yet? Okay. Oh. See, Inception is you can't be obvious about what you're doing, right? You might want those Warriors tickets, but what are those? You have to play chess 8 or 9 steps in advance. So what are those things that you might do to make it seem like we just casually became friends, and then you just kind of mention like, oh man, I really wish, I've always wanted to see Steph Curry, and I'll say, what are you doing on Thursday? Thursday's game 1 of the finals. What are you doing? Oh, I know. Well, I'll just happen to be in San Francisco tomorrow night for game 1. Yeah. You need to work on your cardboard sign, okay? Those bums, they split test, you know. Or they A/B test their signs, right? They're pros, man. They convert better than you. So with sequencing, if you've got a warm audience and you've got your plumbing in place and these remarketing pixels, then you could say, anyone who saw that first video to understand what Josh does, then here's the thing here's the next step in the relationship, right? You're not just going to go up to some lady and say, hey, do you want to come up to my bedroom? You're going to say, oh, I like nice shoes. Hey, do you want to come up to my bedroom? Right? So you need to have see, that's an example of a sequence, right? I'm trying my best. It's almost time for the happy hour anyway. So Facebook has made it so that they're trying to strip away all the complexity of this technology, right? So you can actually do everything with just Facebook and a phone. And what happens, this is stuff that's hidden in plain sight. It's like Logan was talking about. There's things that you may have noticed, but you don't realize why it's there. Do you see this on your page? You see these boxes? You ever really thought about what these boxes do? You can directly have an offer, publish a job post, collect an email address, sell something, collect donations for a nonprofit, get people to check in, have an offer. You can do all these things straight away here natively, and then you can boost it. You can then say of any of these particular posts, I can boost this to any of the audiences that I've already saved, right? And let's say I want to target all the people that like growth hacking. So we've done a little testing. We've taken videos that we know have worked, and we targeted all the people that have an interest of growth hacking, right? Or all the people that like pit bulls, or all the people that work in the media, right? This media audience. If you've got these audiences saved as part of your plumbing, and you don't want to just target everyone who likes, you know, Tai Lopez or something. I mean, that's really a top of funnel thing. Then we drive them to some kind of video or piece of content that's legitimately good. Third-party content on someone else's website by somebody else talking about you. Don't talk about yourself on your website, just on your blog. You look like one of those people, right? Then you can boost it, you can tune it, collect feedback, stick it in your content wheel, right? That's what you want to do. There's 4 components to the 1-minute video. A lot of people don't get this right. Want to talk about that?
Yeah, so we've been talking all about 1-minute video. Hopefully by now you guys have enough built in. They're going to go home and actually make some of these. You don't need the fancy equipment. The first thing, you have to hook them within the first 3 seconds. You can use some kind of movement, some kind of prop, or just, we like to say, you know, when I was, you start right into a story. Rather than introducing yourself, rather than saying, I'm Logan, and I'm 26, and I work for Blitz Metrics. You know, nobody really cares about your bio. So start right into the action of something. Next, ignite pain or pleasure. Okay, what's the actual purpose of the video? You know, and like you, I used to have no money, or, you know, I used to not know what I wanted to do when I grew up. Describe a solution, and then this happened. And then the last part, the 4th part, is the call to action. You know, some purpose at the end. If you'd like to learn more, you know, here's my blog, here's my podcast, come to my site, I'm speaking at this conference. Whatever it is, or I'm making more videos, you know, keep your eye out for them. These are the 4 huge components, and the hook is probably the biggest one, because like Dennis mentioned, if you have some great call to action at the end or whatever it is, it doesn't matter if your average watch time is 5 seconds and everyone bounces from your video because it has some really boring intro and they're scrolling on their phone with the sound off when they're commuting. You know, they're never going to get to the end. So the intro is the most important part. You're vying for their attention. Again, Facebook's different from Google. They have this whole feed, this whole ocean of content that they're scrolling through, vying for their attention. You have to not just be louder than the other voices, you're not shouting at them, you know, but you have to be more clever, have some stopping power in your content.
High relevancy, high engagement rate. So for example, if you have the perfect storm, here's $65 that we spent and it drove 1 million engagements. But then I think this is them winning the NBA Finals a couple of years ago or something like that, right? Moments like this, people love to relive over and over. Does anyone have kids? Finding Nemo or Cousins or whatever, right? They like to watch these certain TV shows over and over, and like you know the words to them because you sing along to these songs and that kind of thing, right? It's the same thing here on Facebook. People love to relive these moments. We call these greatest hits. Assemble your list of greatest hits. Put these greatest hits inside your content library, and don't worry about the frequency being too high, because just like your favorite song, how many times have you listened to your favorite song? If you're like me and you like this new song, you might listen to it 30 times and then eventually like, oh crap, I better stop listening to it, I'll get sick of it. Right? It's the same thing here. It's okay to have greatest hits. And the way to determine if it's a greatest hit is you're going to look at these particular video stats. This is not only for top of funnel. You can use video for awareness, engagement, and conversion. But the stats are going to be different. The particular metric you're going to use at different stages of the funnel is going to be different. Right? 50% view through rate you're going to use across the board. The view to 10 seconds, the lower down it is in the funnel, the longer they should be watching. Right? Organic to paid, this is your viral multiplier. If you're doing a good job, you should be able to see the spillover into organic. So don't just look at the performance that shows inside Ads Manager or inside the post. Look at how much spillover you're getting and how much your subsequent posts are getting, and the spillover into things like organic search. Then, if you have more shares than you do likes and comments, then you know you've got a winner. So the one that we showed you earlier where, for Isaac, this is Mike, they took his initial seed video, then did it their way, right? I'll just turn the sound off. This thing had 29 million views, 320,000 likes and comments. That's impressive. But what's really impressive is the 415,000 shares. There's more shares. Can you imagine what that, can you imagine like 415,000 people in a stadium all clicking or share on something? I just can't even imagine that. And then to think like we're the ones accepting that. And all these likes, that's cool. So the shares count, a share counts for 13 times as much power as a like. A comment is worth 6 times as much as a like. These all are weighted differently. Facebook absolutely counts a weighting, and that's what goes into EdgeRank, and that's what determines newsfeed exposure. Right? EdgeRank is calculated at the edge level between any objects. So a picture of Josh Fector and Logan will be, I'm not going to boost that post, I'll boost it later. So if I do this, these are 2 objects. Josh Fector, Logan, those are objects. This picture, that's an object. Facebook is, the matrix, the green lines going down the black screen, is calculating how close these objects are associated and who else is participating and needs to see this content based on what else is ranking for that particular user's feed, right? Based on a decay factor and what else other people, there's other factors that go into this. But when we establish linkages between these edges, we're establishing a high relevance score, which is the same thing as Google quality score. Facebook relevance score is the same thing as Google quality score. It's taking CTR, which is engagement rate, as the primary factor on organic and paid. So that when people engage here, and we're building edges, edges are connections between different objects. Then the algorithm's saying, it looks like Dennis and Logan and Ryan and Josh and their friends are coming in and liking and commenting, and there's different weights associated with this. That affects what happens the next time any one of these folks does something. Whether they post, whether they share, whatever it is. That's how we're growth hacking the algorithm, which is feeding them the thing that has the highest possible engagement rate. Okay? So how do you do that to have the highest authority and the highest engagement rate? You want to have things that have the highest authority, because people will listen to authority. So Logan got bit by a dog. He still hasn't regrown his thumbnail. It's been two months.
It'll be like 6 months.
Yeah. And when this thing happened, we posted the doorbell video camera and targeted the local media, and then he made the top story for TV news. Oh, we got to wait 29 seconds. So we'll talk while this thing's happening. So by posting about it from his public figure page, targeting the media, and also targeting pit bull lovers, we drove tons and tons of engagement. That particular post had a 71% engagement rate. Can you imagine that? 71% of people that saw it as they were scrolling through had to stop and click on something. So when you send that high of a signal and that thing gets up to 100,000 views or whatnot, then the media is going to pick up on this.
Is anyone's nightmare. A neighbor's dog running into your home, biting you, and then attacking your dog.
The beginning of the frightening scene, of course, captured on doorbell video. Central Utah Specialist Sam Penrod is live where it all went down in or from tonight. Sam?
David Daney, it all happened very fast here at this apartment complex yesterday morning. A man went to the hospital with a serious bite to his hand. His dog had to go to the vet, and the dog that attacked is in the shelter tonight and may be put down.
Was just leaving to go to church. But Logan Young wasn't ready for what happened as he left his apartment. I mean, it's the most unexpected thing you can think of. Just open the door and boom, dog there, trying to stop it. It's in your apartment.
Anyway, that's Inception. Because when you plant the seed and then it gets covered, like, you know, what's his face, George Takei or Ellen or all these other people shared, you reshare their share if you're collecting that in the content library. So then we take this article, which was because of what we initially seeded, and then we boost that to the media, and now we've got these, like, I know Logan doesn't want to be known as like the how do you take care of your dog kind of guy, but just for fun, we wanted to demonstrate that we could do this off of anyone with any kind of topic. This wasn't this, you know, wild unicorn thing by random. This is something you can systematically do. Now, how do we turn this into Facebook ads? I don't know. I guess we could talk about dollar a day and complaining and, you know, this kind of thing, right? But like what we're doing here, the power, it was the power of the 1-minute video for $1 a day, boosted on Facebook, that got coverage. And then people that see this or people that know about Logan, they're more likely to follow him. He has more authority. Because the worst thing, like Gary Vaynerchuk or these other people talk about, is ignominy, where people don't even know who you are, right? You have to establish a few of these different things to speak at conferences, to have a book, to have some great customers, to have, you know, to have citations where you're in, here's the American Marketing Association, right? So if you're in marketing, you probably know about this. And here's how the Warriors are able to drive all this revenue by building different engagement audiences off of remarketing on Facebook and YouTube and all this kind of stuff. And here it is, step by step, showing how the stuff works, showing how we've made the ads, showing how the content's organized, showing how we turn things on and off, all this stuff, right? And that's what creates amazing trust. That's the heart of Inception. Because you've got to have the dream inside the dream inside the dream. You've got to plant that idea there so they never even know that you were selling to them, right? And that's what this guide is. How do you do that? How do you build these audiences? That's what you have in that one-page cheat sheet. And we'd love nothing more than you guys to follow the same thing and see how can you guys do that, right? How do you create content that lives on other people's sites? How do you get other people to talk about you instead of you talking about yourself? How do you leverage their audiences instead of your audiences if you don't have a big audience? For sure, you know other people that have bigger audiences than you have. How do you incept the media without making it look like you're super hungry PR trying to get people to, you know, to do your thing, right? That's what we want you to know about, because you can manipulate any of these guys, because the journalists are out there just trying to get the story out. And wherever they see the most, whatever appears to be authoritative because of who you're associating with, because of the content that's being put out there, because of the social signals that are associated with it, they're going to assume that that's what's working, okay? So you guys have that one-page cheat sheet. We would love nothing more than to see you guys actually implement 1-minute videos, $1 a day, inside your topic library, right? You don't need a gigantic team. You don't need all this other stuff. You can do it yourself. You can pull out your iPhone and do it, just like Isaac did. Question in the back.
I'm a social media neophyte, so this was really fascinating, but completely overwhelming, as you can imagine. Is it possible to get the presentation that you kept referring to behind the cheat sheet?
Yeah, I think it's at the bottom there. If you're on the one pager there, it's like Facebook or blitzmetrics.com/tips, or there's a URL.
That's this, right? I looked there.
Yep, at the bottom there. You can get the full guide there. Is it? Or maybe not. I don't know. It's not? Okay.
Just email me, logan@blitzmetrics.com. Yeah, my email should be on the bottom. But as part of the social amplification engine, which goes through a whole 6-phase process, which we work through for any client, whether it's personal branding or an enterprise like the Warriors or Nike, Rosetta Stone, any of them, you have to start with plumbing, tracking, then move through your strategy, like Dennis mentioned, and then, you know, running ads and optimizing against them. Yeah, for sure.
And I'll make one shameless plug. I don't think there's any of the big brands that we typically service here, but one thing we've been trying is the thing we call a power hour, which is a mini consultation, where we'll help you set up the ads, we'll help you tune your campaigns, we'll help you look at your analytics and remarketing or set a strategy if you don't have one, or help you find people. We've got a ton of young adults. Last I checked, I think there's 300 some in the program that are at different points of learning to get certified to do all the things that we've talked about, because everything that we're talking about here is driven by checklists. There's absolutely checklists on how you do, and 90% of it is mechanical, as in it doesn't require some kind of strategic knowledge, like monitoring mentions and editing videos and boosting posts and, you know, putting things into the success tracker, which is the format that you put the stuff in. So we exist as a company because we create jobs for young adults that are trying to bridge from university into the private sector. That's what we stand for. I made a few $1 million when I left Yahoo, and I put all that money into this company so we could create jobs for other people. I make $500 a week. We fly around to do this because this is what we stand for. We're not doing it to get rich. I think Logan makes $500 a week too. All the money goes back into these programs. We're not a nonprofit, although I feel like we basically are because we don't make any profit. But we produce these guides. We're teaching at these universities completely for free because we have seen this make an impact, and we have seen that the young adults have a natural affinity when it comes to social media and video and apps and doing the kind of stuff that old people like me don't want to do. I don't know what Snapchat is. What? Give me my wheelchair. See, I feel like I'm being left behind. But this is what, see, these people hit me up on Skype. At least I know how to use Skype, right? So the one pitch I'll give is if you buy one of these power hours, which we charge $7.50 for, we normally have, it's normally like an hour. We'll give you a 2-for-1, so you have Logan and I, and we'll do a full review on whatever you want to cover, but you have to buy that in the next 24 hours, right? If you buy that, you will get us for 2 sessions, and we'll give you all of these documents. That's the one pitch I'll make, all right? Thank you very much.
I need some traction. You need some traction. Let's get some traction.